Today, our New Mexico State Sports Weekly. NM State football has started spring practice. Head coach Doug Martin will stop by the studio to fill us in on his team's progress. Conference play is in full swing for Aggie baseball. Head coach Brian Green will join us to look back at his team's first 9 games in WAC play. What a run it has been for NM State softball and head coach Kathy Rodolph. The Aggies have won 8 of 9, which included a win on Monday against number 19 Arizona State. Coach Rodolph will reveal her team's key to success. On today's show, we put the finishing touches on a fine season for Aggie men's basketball with some of the top plays from the team's 23-win season. And we finish up with men's golf head coach Mike Dirks, whose team is coming off a weekend tournament at Texas A&M. We're glad you've joined us. This is New Mexico State Sports Weekly. Welcome to another episode of New Mexico State Sports Weekly. I'm your host, Adam Young. NM State football has returned to the turf at Aggie Memorial Stadium. Spring ball has started for Aggie football as they get ready for their annual spring game, which takes place on April 25th. Here with me now is head coach Doug Martin. Coach, week 2 of spring ball. How's the progress been in the field?
It's been great, Adam. We're in a very physical spring. There's a lot of hitting going on, getting a lot of good work done. I really like we mentioned the junior college players earlier. I really like the guys we brought in. I think our young players, the experience they got last year has really helped move them forward into the spring.
It's spring ball and it's still very early, but do you have a good idea of what you have in the field right now?
Yeah, I think we do. You know, again, we played so many young guys last year, all those freshmen that we brought in that played. We really have a good sense of where they are. The great thing about them is they're all bigger and stronger now, having gone through a winter conditioning program with Coach Decker and the strength program. So we've got a very experienced team, but a very young team, and that's a good quality to have.
I'm sure there's a lot of competitions. What are some competitions you're tracking closely right now?
Well, the quarterback position, Tyler Rogers and Nick Genty, both are competing really hard there. I like the way both of them are progressing. I think Tyler's made a lot of progress. I think Nick has a lot of upside to him also. Running back, we've got a lot of depth back there. Jamichael Selders has really stepped up and has given us some time back there that we like. Clayton Grant's the tight end, playing really well. And then defensively, that's probably where we have the most depth right now, which hasn't been the case before. Up front, the 2 interior defensive linemen, we are going our top 4 players anywhere from 290 pounds to 320 pounds. And then that hadn't been the case here at New Mexico State in quite some time. So we got a lot of competition on the defensive side. You're
taking over the offensive coordinator duties, so working closely with those QBs. What are some traits you're looking for in your starting QB?
Well, I think decision making, that's really the biggest part of it is, taking care of the football, knowing when to push on the accelerator, when to back off a little bit. And I think Tyler's done a nice job with that. It's all about leadership and those type of things with the quarterback position also. And again, I love the 2 young men we're working with here right now. I think they got some great potential.
It seems like you have more playmakers this year on the outside. Is that correct?
Well, no question. Everybody saw what Teldrick Morgan did last year, obviously an all-conference player, and the way Greg Hogan finished the season of wide receiver, he's probably one of the better wide receivers coming back in the conference. So I think we're very deep at wide receiver. I think we got a lot of guys out there that can make things happen. Andrew Allen has moved out to wide receiver and really looks good out there. And then obviously Larry Rose coming back, and then the running backs we have. I think we got a lot of weapons on offense.
Defensively, you had a lot of freshmen, a lot of underclassmen last season. How big was it off season in the weight room?
It was huge, really, for all those freshmen. Larry Rose is a prime example of that. He is, he ran for 1,200 yards last year, was a freshman newcomer of the year, but now he's 14 pounds heavier and a lot stronger than what he was last year. And that's the same with all those guys, especially defensively too. Dalton Harrington, Derek Abikwe, all those guys. The defensive lineman, Cortland Busby, last year defensive lineman, he played at 250 pounds, so he's 285 pounds now. So the offseason has really helped all those freshmen.
You have a scrimmage on the 18th, the game on the 25th. Is there a spot you want to be at with your team by then?
Well, by the time we get to the 25th, we'd like to really hone in on who the starters are, who's the backups going to be, what the role of everybody is going into the summer. And I think just be a real sound, fundamental football team. We're not really trying to install a lot of things this spring. It's more about blocking and tackling and making sure we know the fundamentals of the game.
Schedule-wise, it was released just over a month ago. You have Ole Miss, you have Florida, both on the road. Happy with the way the schedule turned out as a whole?
Well, I am. I think our conference schedule is excellent. I really like the way that turned out. We have a bye week between the UTEP game and the New Mexico game, and that helps having a bye between those two, especially to get ready for the option offense in New Mexico. That will help us having 2 weeks to get ready for that. And obviously the two SEC games, those are going to be highly competitive, but those are great opportunities for our football team to make a stand about who we're going to be.
As far as all the teams in the conference, do you know what they have coming back?
Oh yeah. We know. A lot of teams. Lafayette has lost a lot of players. And now they had, probably the most experienced football team last year. Arkansas State returns a lot of players. Georgia Southern returns a lot. I think right now we probably return the most Letterman of any team in the conference.
All right, the spring football game will take place on Saturday, April 25th, when the Aggies take to the field at Aggie Memorial Stadium. Coach, as always, thanks for your time.
Appreciate it, Adam. Thank you.
When New Mexico State Sports Weekly returns, head baseball coach Brian Green will stop by the studio. Stay with us. This is New Mexico State Sports Weekly. NM State Baseball is in the heart of conference play. The Aggies recently wrapped up their third WAC series of the season last weekend in Las Cruces. The Aggies are now gearing up for a 4-game road trip, starting with a weekend WAC series in Seattle. Head coach Brian Green is with us. Coach, a brief 3-game homestand, a 3-game series against Northern Colorado. What were some of the things you took away from that series?
Northern Colorado did a very nice job with the bats. Some things for us that we were really excited about. Looks like we might have Quentin Mack starting to get going with the bat. That was really positive to see him really come on late. Q's been working on some things adjustment-wise, and to see him actually start to put it together late was great. A.J. Duran continues to just be a consistent tough out for us. Joe Corper at the plate is doing great. Again, our bullpen has been pretty solid if we can get it to them. It's been those middle innings that have been difficult for us. Guys are competing as hard as they can, but for us, we really need to get offensive consistency. That's the biggest thing, and what we're trying to do, Adam, is just to get small right now in terms of how we're going to work. And we're excited about what we've got in front of us in terms of Seattle going on the road. It's a great opportunity. So we know we've got our hands full this weekend. There's no question about that.
You mentioned Joe Corper. He's been the most consistent hitter all year. How big is it to get those Las Cruces guys to stay home?
It's really exciting for me personally because Joe is such a great kid. He's a great teammate. He's a great competitor. And it makes you proud as an Aggie to know that you've got a Las Cruces guy who's your top hitter, your top competitor at this point. And he's made major improvements from last year. So, he's bumped his average 70, 80 points. He's showing more power. And Joe's only going to get better, but he brings it every day. And he's one of the guys that we consistently talk about. Look, this is what we're all striving to be, are these types of competitors. Can you just show up and bring your best effort every day? For us, a local guy doing it, it's a good story.
It hasn't been an easy schedule travel-wise, 20 of your 29 games on the road. How challenging has this been for the team?
It's been extremely challenging for all of us, and you hope at some point that all of those challenges and potential adversities can allow you to build strength as you move into the second half of the year. But, we've really we come home, we don't even unpack, and then we hit it again. It's given us a great opportunity to play some great venues. The schedule's been extremely difficult, top 25 competition across the board, and all of it's been on the road. So, our goal is that we can use those opportunities to strengthen us, and it's been a tough schedule, but at the same time, great opportunity for us. Look, we've been on the road, great competition, and now we've got a chance to do it again, but we're prepared for it, and then come home for essentially the remainder of the season. So for us, it's an opportunity to be positive and to use it as strength.
A nice stretch here with 5 days off in between games. That's critical for practice time, isn't it?
The goals that we've had for the program are just, can we get small in our thinking? When things don't go your way, in any line of work, you tend to get outside of yourself and you don't see the opportunity for it can turn that fast. And for us, when things get away from you, it tends to get big. We really want to get small. We want to focus on the swing. We want to focus on the approach. Focus on those things that we can control, those 1 or 2 keys that we can start to improve on, and then get bigger and bigger and bigger.
The Aggies will head to Seattle this weekend as they play the WAC-leading Redhawks in a 3-game series. The Aggies and the Redhawks will start play on Friday. Coach, best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
When New Mexico State Sports Weekly returns, we sit down with head softball coach Kathy Rodolph. Her team is coming off an impressive top 25 win against Arizona State. The Aggies have also raced out to a 6-0 start in conference. Coach Rodolph is with us after this on New Mexico State Sports Weekly. Welcome back to New Mexico State Sports Weekly. It has been quite the couple of weeks for NM State softball. The Aggies are a perfect 6-0 in WAC play after a pair of series sweeps. And on Monday, The Aggies stepped out of conference play to take on number 19 Arizona State. The Aggies beat the Sun Devils to pick up their second win against a ranked opponent. Head coach Kathy Rodolph joins us in studio. Coach, another win against a ranked opponent. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud of the girls. They've worked really hard, and we had a long trip home from Seattle, 11 and a half hours to get home, and I didn't know what kind of energy we'd bring, and they absolutely rose to the challenge.
That says a lot about your team, doesn't it?
It really does. This senior group has been phenomenal leaders, and you know, with Stacy Rodriguez at the helm, and basically they just come out with high expectations and a high bar, and so far it's serving us well.
What was the big key in that win against ASU?
Well, we had played them earlier in the year, and it was 7-7 ball game in the 7th inning, and then we lost to them in extra innings. So we believed in our own minds that if we came out and played our top level game, that we could compete and have a shot at beating them. And I believe that the kids are playing with a ton of confidence.
You've talked on the show previously about showing the opposition different looks from the circle, and you did that with McAdams and McBride.
Well, you know, Mac and Dal were both just stellar. I feel like, you know, Mac is a hard-throwing right-hander and Dal's a hard-throwing left-hander, and it's really hard in the middle of the game to see the ball coming from different angles, and it takes a little while to adjust, and that's what we hoped would happen.
It seems like we talk about her every week. Stacy Rodriguez does it again, 2 home runs. She was the WAC hitter of the week previously and goes out and hits 2 home runs.
You know, she just broke 50 home runs for her career here at New Mexico State, and she put on a clinic up in Seattle doing slide-bys and stealing bases and home runs. You know, there's not a nicer kid on the planet, so I'm so happy for Stacy to see her really break out her senior year.
Where does this win stack up against your other wins? I know the Nebraska one was a big one as well.
Well, it's the first time that we've ever been able to beat Arizona State. We've gone extra innings with them twice and fallen a little short, so that was huge for our program.
Your team knew going in they were going to win that game, it seemed like. I watched the celebration at the plate after Rodriguez and her second home run. It was so calm, and it seemed like there wasn't too much celebration. They knew that they were going to win that game.
Well, you know, we talked before the game, and what I told them is we have nothing to lose. You know, the only one that really believes that we can win this is us. Yeah. And, you know, playing at home, we love to play at home. We love our facility. And I asked the kids, I said, just come out and give your best effort. You can put your head on the pillow at night and sleep well no matter what the score is.
It was a win against a ranked opponent, a big crowd at home, and it was a television game produced by Aggie Vision. What does this do for recruiting?
Oh, it's huge. We were in thousands of homes last night, and everybody could see the atmosphere here at New Mexico State. We've had great crowds all year long to really support us. A beautiful facility. You know, it was just a great night.
Finally, Coach, 6-0 start in WAC play. How about that?
Well, you know, I feel like we tried to make the preseason as tough as we could so that when we got to conference play that we would be ready. Trying to beat a team 3 times on a weekend is a very difficult thing to do, and so far we've been able to balance the defense and offense together.
The Aggies will take on UMKC in Las Cruces this weekend, looking to stay undefeated in conference play. Coach, good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
When we come back on New Mexico State Sports Weekly, we take a look back at some of the best plays for the New Mexico State men's basketball season. This is New Mexico State Sports Weekly. Your NM State men's basketball team made a 4th straight trip to the NCAA tournament this season, and there were numerous highlights on the way. With electric dunkers like DK Eldridge and Daniel Mullings, the Aggies made multiple appearances on the SportsCenter Top 10 plays and gave Aggie fans plenty to cheer about during their 23-win season. Let's take a look back at some of the top plays from the season.
For 3. Remy sees the baseline and takes it. Corner, DK for three, hits it this time. Here's Taylor. Showtime!
You're going to have a lot of special moments. You're going to shed tears, or you're going to have laughter. We've had some great emotional highs and lows together. That forms a bond that I think will last a lifetime.
Quickly, Rosenberg, blocked on the play, up with it, Mullings to Chili, slams it home, and the place goes nuts.
Moves around right, spins in the paint, straight away three for Perry, yes sir!
Now a quick pass down to Pascal, and he slams it home.
And almost does a chin up on the rim there.
Yeah. Swing it out, stolen away. Up ahead to Daniel Mullins, yes.
They trail by one. Eldridge in rhythm. He was killed and he rounds through. Oh my goodness!
Against slammed home by San Diego. So just doing what they want. Sar open, but actually misses one. Block on the other side. Inside, Killy slams it home.
Siakam wide open. The stuff for Pascal.
Chalitzi Napawi back to Daniel Mullings. Three again.
DK somehow controls it. Alley-oop for Jalen Penny. Oh my goodness!
Long jumper, good for three by Ian Baker.
Ahead for Eldridge. Has the trailer Siakam. Oh, what a feed by DK in the stuff for Pascal.
Mexico State University, the champions of the Western Athletic Conference. After the break, head men's golf coach Mike Dirks will join us after his team's sixth-place finish at the Aggie Invitational in Bryan, Texas. Don't go anywhere. This is New Mexico State Sports Weekly. The Aggie men's golf team is back in Las Cruces after a sixth-place finish in Bryan, Texas at the Aggie Invitational hosted by Texas A&M. The highlight of the weekend was a round of 289 by the Aggies in round two that put them in a tie for first place after two rounds. Here with us in studio is head coach Mike Dirks. Coach, I know it wasn't the finish that you wanted, but your team put themselves in a really good position after two rounds.
You know, Adam, it was really fun to play and to watch them come down that second round to shoot 289. We struggled in the middle of that round. We were about 19 over par. We made about 5 birdies to finish to get back to tie for first and get in that last group. And the last group for us is key because that's a learning position. Mm-hmm. You got a chance to win, but you're playing with guys, competing with guys trying to do the same thing as you are. And that's the fun part. That's where you really learn how to play.
That 289 in round two, is that one of the best rounds your team's played in a while?
We played really well. I mean, I know it's over par, but that golf course is really, really hard. Probably dating back to the fall, that's probably the best round we've played over the course of 18 holes. We've had stretches like that, but to put those two rounds together, it wasn't the best day to play. The whole locations are really hard. We played some good golf.
Mm-hmm. You finished sixth. The 5 schools ahead of you were all power conference schools, so the field was competitive.
The field's competitive top to bottom. There are a lot of teams that are really good in golf. We want to be one of those, and I think we are one of those. Is just getting our kids to believe that they can play with those guys. I watch us play, and I know our talent level is as good as they are. Sometimes it's getting the kids to believe that they can play at that level day in and day out.
2 weeks off now until the WAC tournament. What's the course like there, and does it play to the strengths of your guys?
We went and played the Wigwam over spring break. We went and saw it, and it's a demanding course around the greens. You've got to place your ball correctly, so you've got uphill putts. The kids seem to like it, which is good. They seem to think they can score really well. Tournament play is different, but I think it suits us, and I think it suits our game.
Which schools can challenge you guys, you think, in Phoenix?
Right now, I think Seattle and UMKC are playing the best. We've beaten every conference team so far this year we've played, but as you know, 3 days of golf, anything can happen, and we're talking to our young kids about that we have to be at our best. If we're at our best, I think we'll do just fine. So we're going to continue to practice and get ready for that conference championship.
What are the preparations like as you get ready for that WAC tournament here in 2 weeks?
We're going to continue to work on short game. I think short game is the key to the par fives. We will be around the greens in 2 or on them. We've got to chip and putt and make some birdies there. They've got some shorter holes where precise wedges are going to be key to give yourself birdie putts inside 10 feet. So we'll work a lot on those type things. And then maybe play a couple times from the up tees at our home golf course. Try to shoot some low scores to ingrain in them that, hey, we can shoot 65.
The Aggies are off for 2 weeks before they head to the WAC tournament in Phoenix, Arizona. Coach, best of luck at the WAC tourney.
Thank you.
That will do it for this week's installment of New Mexico State Sports Weekly. I'm Adam Young saying thank you for watching, and go Aggies.